Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney has fired the latest, most controversial shot in his decade-long war against Steam. This isn't about revenue cuts or platform exclusives anymore. It's about artificial intelligence and the fundamental right of players to know what's in the games they buy. The Steam store has a policy forcing developers to disclose if they use generative AI. Sweeney says it's meaningless, obsolete, and should be removed. Players, artists, and ethical developers, however, argue that this label is the only thing currently standing between the gaming market and a flood of potentially low-effort, low-quality content, what critics call AI slop. This is the newest, most controversial chapter in the Epic vs. Steam feud that cuts right to the heart of who should control the future of gaming. The current situation kicked off when Sweeney publicly agreed with a user calling for marketplaces to drop the Made with AI label. He followed up with an exact quote that reveals his business-centric view. Agreed, the AI tag is relevant to art exhibits for authorship disclosure, and to digital content licensing marketplaces, where buyers need to understand the right situation. It makes no sense for game stores where AI will be involved in nearly all future production. Sweeney is arguing that AI will be everywhere, used in almost every game, for everything from generating concept art to generating the code for the game, believing that labeling AI will be as absurd as labeling what compiler or physics engine was used. He immediately followed up with a quote designed to mock the player's demand for transparency, suggesting this information is useless. Why stop at AI use? We could have mandatory disclosures for what shampoo brand the developer uses. Customers deserve to know. Clearly just acting in bad faith for this argument, ignoring why a player would want to know about this information. He's framing the call for transparency as an anti-progress, even irrational demand. This position is strategically beneficial to Epic Games because crucially the Epic Games store does not currently require this specific disclosure of generative AI content. By arguing against the label, Epic is promoting an environment of less regulation and fewer potential barriers for developers who are rapidly embracing AI tools. So while Tim is focusing on the technical inevitability of AI, the players, artists, and some ethical creators are focused on two major issues that the current technology still hasn't solved: ethics and quality control. For many players, the AI label is a vital filter against what they fear will be an upcoming flood of low-effort, low-quality games. The disclosure helps customers avoid wasting money on uninspired, quickly made content that would otherwise be difficult to spot. Even Sweeney himself mentioned the right situation. Generative AI is trained on massive datasets, often including copyrighted and human-created art without permission or compensation. Some players use the AI tag to make an ethical choice, to make sure they are supporting games and studios that align with their values. And this is where Steam differentiates itself and proves the label is useful. Steam actually requires developers to specify how AI is used, separating pre-generated content, which are assets created using AI tools during development, like textures, concept art, background NPCs, versus live generated content, which are assets created in real time while the game is running, like AI-driven dialogue. This level of detail is exactly what is needed for transparency. A successful Steam game like Embark Studios' Arc Raiders openly discloses its use of AI and procedural tools to assist with content creation. The studio had to be clear about how they used it, allowing the game to proceed with its massive concurrent player count without ethical backlash derailing the launch. This proves the disclosure system works to build trust, not to stifle innovation. If the game is good, it doesn't matter if there's an AI disclosure, but for those players who care about AI in their games, they can easily know about it. Industry analysis suggests that a significant number of new Steam releases, possibly approaching 20%, are beginning to use generative AI in some capacity. So the disclosure system makes sure that as AI integration becomes the new norm, consumers still have control. But it's important to know that this AI disclosure fight is simply the latest, most public series in a decade-long war by Tim Sweeney against the massive market power power of Steam. His stance on AI, like his stance on fees, is about challenging Steam's authority. The entire existence of the Epic Games Store is a direct attack on Steam's standard 30% revenue commission. Epic attempts to disrupt the market by offering a dramatically developer-friendly 88% to 12% split and even 0% on the first million. Sweeney has been public about why he views the 30% cut as indefensible, like in 2019 when he described it as the game developer IRS. After proposing that if Steam committed to a permanent 88% revenue, Epic would consider putting their own games on Steam and retreat from exclusives. And around this time is when his frustration boiled over in a famous email chain with Gabe Newell and other Valve executives after Valve implemented a tiered royalty system that only gave larger publishers earning over 10 million a better cut, 25 or 20%, while leaving smaller developers with the full 30%. This move clearly made Tim mad, who was preparing to launch the Epic Games Store with its flat 12% cut for everyone. Sweeney wrote, "Right now, you assholes are telling the world that the strong and powerful get special terms, while 30% is for the little people. We're all in for a prolonged battle." The internal, famously casual reply from Valve's COO, Scott Lynch, that he shared with Gabe Newell summed up the company's attitude towards Sweeney. "You mad, bro?" Sweeney has consistently used every public platform to challenge Steam's power. Whether it's the 30% cut, timed exclusives, or now AI disclosure, his motivation is to destabilize Steam's dominance. He views the platform not as a market facilitator, but as an ever-expanding monopoly that systemically closes off opportunities for small developers. He articulated this exact sentiment in a recent public statement. "I just hate to see Valve confiscate ever more opportunity from small developers by facilitating new categories, cancel campaigns, and review bombing. Steam used to just facilitate downloads, then they foreclosed on payments, then price competition, then crypto, now AI." So he sees the AI tag as the latest attempt to confiscate opportunity by giving hostile consumers a new weapon, a specialized tag to target and organize cancel campaigns and review bombing against studios using AI. But like we have already seen with Arc Raiders, it really only matters if the game is good or not. If AI is used and the game is bad, of course people will complain about it. But Tim Sweeney is correct about one thing, and that's AI is here to stay and it will be everywhere. However, his call to eliminate the AI disclosure entirely ignores the current realities of the marketplace and the unsolved ethical problems of the technology. It removes the player's last line of defense against poor quality asset flipped content and potentially unethical data use. So the best path forward isn't taking away the AI disclosure, but actually making them better with more details. The battle between Epic and Steam will continue, but for now, Steam is on the side of transparency, and that's a standard consumers must be able to trust. But I want to hear your take. Does the Epic CEO have a point that the AI label will be useless next year, or is the Steam disclosure the last necessary defense against AI slop and the future of gaming? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video.